بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Welcome everybody to community update number 35. Let's begin with our dua. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. So, I'd like to welcome everybody today to Community Update, believe it or not, number 35. So, we've been doing this for quite a while now, and I hope that everyone is ready for the summer, and inshallah, we'll be able to find some good things to do in the summer. And this community update, I want to take the time to share with everybody a program that we have going on for everyone this summer. So if you go to safinasociety.org, you'll see we have a bundle. We've bundled up our classes. I should have shared that screen first. So let's go to that one. Let's go to that screen real quick. And you'll see that we have 7 classes up and running. We got 7 classes going on here. And these classes are all part of a family pack that we try to make it easy for everybody, that we put all the classes in one bundle. And if you only want the children's classes and the youth, we've done that for you too. So if you want the adult scholarship classes, we've got that in a separate bundle for you. So let's take a look at the website. First of all, what a beautiful website. That's the first thing you have to look at when you see this swimming in plum space here. So the world is now online. Be part of an online community striving to draw near to Allah and serve His message. Throw the worries of the world over your shoulder and dive into an ocean of endless mercy. And that's really what we want to do here. We want to dive into the ocean of dhikrullah, dhikru rasulihi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we do that at Safina Society by studying, by opening the books and looking what the ulama have told us, what's in the Quran and the hadith and the work of scholarship. And we've put together a 2-month, 7-course family pack for only $49 a month, okay, starting June 21st. So you don't have to register for every class. You just sign on. It's $49 a month. You get all these classes. So the first one is Hikam of Ibn Atta, the wisdoms of Ibn Atta'illah, and I'll be doing that Sundays at 3 p.m. Before that will be Niyaz Hannan, who will be doing Hadith course with Ijaza. He'll be doing the Bukhari hadiths that have only 3 chains back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he'll go first, and then I'll go in the same class. So and then we have Arabic grammar, Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. I'll be doing that. Then we got my main man, Ashir Adrian Kirk, an old buddy, who will be doing interactive tajweed. Interactive means you can recite as well, and that'll be Thursdays 7 p.m. and Saturday 10 a.m. So you'll recite, and he'll do the correction. For tweens, which are the age of that sort of I like that age personally, because they're starting to grow up. You can have conversations, and yet they're still respectful, and they hold their parents and authority figures with respect still. And those are the 11, 12, I guess 12, 13, like that, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade basically. And that'll be Stories of the Prophets by Yusra Kandil. Ali ibn Sa'd will be doing Hadith for Youth, and that's for the high schoolers, and he'll be looking at the selection of a Hadith and the lessons drawn from there. And what a neat picture of Ali ibn Sa'd, the hipster there with the cap, and at the coffee shop with the cappuccino there, or whatever, the Americano there. And then you have someone that all the kids love, which is Ali Bhakti. And I love his stories too. I'm one of the first people who, when I know that he's on, I'm the one of the first people who tunes in. I tell everybody, be quiet. I'm trying to listen. So Ali Bhakti, as well as Hala and Afnan, will be doing fiqh for kids. And this is actually divided into 2 different days because we know that basically the parents, they sign their kids up to keep them busy and to get out of their hair. So we've doubled it up for you. There will be a Sunday morning session and there will be a weekday session. All right. So more information to come on that soon. So how does it work? If you just want the kids stuff, just the children's class or the youth and the tweens and the tajweed and the Arabic, then it's ArcView for $10 a month. And if you want the scholarship track, which is including my class as well as Mufti Niyaz's class, then it is that $49 a month. So if you want, you can get the truncated version or you can get the full version for the adults as well. Now, when you sign up, you're signing up for like a subscription here. As long as you're signed up, you can join or unjoin at any time. But as long as you're signed up, you will have access to all of these classes. Okay, so with ArcView Plus, there's Wisdoms of the Sirah, Hikam of Ibn Ata, and more to be added. With ArcView, you have all these other classes as well. Summarized Ihya Ulumuddin, Remembrance of God, Lives of Man, World of Angels, Virtues of Seclusion, one of the most popular of all the classes. Okay, so you get all that. You have any questions? You can put it on the chat today, or you can go to myarcview at safinasociety.org. Okay, so compliments to the people who designed this website. I mean, it's one of those sites that I just keep going on just to look at it every few hours. Okay, so let's shift over now and let's get to our topic. And our topic today is the great Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is known as Dhannun. وَذَنُّونِ إِذْ ذَهَبَ مُغَاضِبًا فَظَنَّ أَن لَّن نَّقْدِرَ عَلَيْهِ فَنَادَى فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ أَن لَّا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنتَ سُبْحَانَكَ إِنِّي كُنتُ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ فاستجبنا له ونجيناه من الغم وكذلك ننجي المؤمنين. Dhannun is Yunus alayhi salam, and he is Yunus ibn Matta. Yunus, Jonah, the son of Matthew, and Yunus ibn Matta is from. He is. Some say that he's from the Bani Israel, and that's the most very popular statement that he is one of the Anbiya of Bani Israel who was raised in the temple, or raised in one of the schools, surrounded by scholars and by other prophets. And then one day when he was serving his sheikh, he heard a voice. He's sleeping in like it's almost like a compound type of building where the sheikh lives and the students also live. And we still have some of those today. And it was very popular back in the day that it's a compound, a madrasa basically, where the students live. And sometimes the teachers live there as well. And there's a kitchen and a musalla and classrooms and libraries and everything. So he's living there like all the other students. Then late in the middle of the night, he hears his sheikh, Yunus. So he has to answer his sheikh, right? You have to respect your mashayikh. So he answers his sheikh and he goes to talk to his sheikh. He finds his sheikh sound asleep. So he goes back. He waits a little bit and lo and behold, sheikh calls him again. Yeah, Yunus. He goes to Yunus. He can't, sheikh is sound asleep. He's like, what is going on here? Third time, in the middle of the night, Yunus, he wakes up, goes to see his sheikh, and lo and behold, it wasn't his sheikh. That was just to ease his fear. It was Sayyidina Jibreel coming with the voice of his sheikh. So oftentimes that the malaika, when they speak to a prophet, they will speak to him in a voice that is known to him, so that he wasn't startled. And when you're not startled, you get the immediate reaction of a person. And the immediate reaction of Yunus alayhi salam was a pious one. He said, Labbaik. He went and ran to serve his sheikh in the middle of the night. Labbaik. Labbaik is a word meaning Labbaik wa sa'daik, at your service with happiness. And that's how the people should answer your teachers and your parents, especially. Labbaik wa sa'daik. According to the Arabs, that's what they raise their children upon. Labbaik wa sa'daik. Not just at your service. Your employee could be at your service too. A slave could be at your service, but labbaik wa sa'daik. at your service with happiness, right? And for your happiness as well. So wouldn't it be beautiful to have teenage kids who talk like that, right? Oh, son, get me my slippers. Labbaik o sa'daik, right? Like throwback to the 1950s or something. But point being, Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salam, he received the wahi in the middle of the night from Sayyidina Jibreel, and he received his instruction. So he woke up the next morning and he informed his sheikh. He said, I have received a message from Sayyidina Jibreel. He was told, Sayyidina Yunus was told, you're a prophet and you must obey him. From here on, he is whom you obey. And Sayyidina Jibreel said, you have a mission to the people of Nineveh. Nineveh is today, I still believe, I still think it's called Nineveh in Iraq. It's a city in Iraq. And he has to go and call those people to Tawheed. That was his mission, to travel to Iraq and call the people to Tawheed. Yunus alayhi salam was born and raised around believers and around scholars and pious people. But now he was only about 16, 17 years old, and he received his mission. So he went and he began doing this journey and arrived at Nineveh to give them the da'wah. And he arrived and he found an old-fashioned city with about 100,000 people. It's a pretty big city for the olden days. I mean, there's not even 100,000 people in a lot of towns in America today. So pretty populous town. And so he sees this idols and he sees people worshiping idols. And so he starts making his rounds. And every time he can find a spot, he'd stand on an elevated area and he'd give a speech. And he'd tell people, tell me, if I was to knock down an idol, can the idol defend itself? So if it can't defend its own self, how do you think it's going to defend you? So he's just talking logic. Believe it or not, Tawheed, the idea of one God and rejecting idols, all right, was the path of anyone who was intellectual in those days. Okay? Because you clearly can't see anyone with inquiry will clearly reject idols. So to him, this is so patently obvious that doesn't need anything except to be told once. That's how obvious he felt that this whole situation is, that idolatry is so silly. Okay, all you need to be informed is once. Just like if I inform you, hey, look, this here building is on fire. Don't enter into it. It should be logical. Or 2 + 2 is not 5. It's just logical. All right. So Sayyidina Yunus went north side, east side, west side, south side. He went all around the city. And he found these people to be just dense, stubborn, not listening to him. And he became so upset with them and trying to talk to their leaders. And they said, no, we're going to worship the idols. He said, let's just look at logic here. If you knock it over, can it defend itself? No. Are you going to still worship it and pray to it? Yes. Why? Because this is what our forefathers did. He said, but I'm giving you logic and you're telling me this is what my forefathers did? Which one outweighs which? He got frustrated with them and he left. Okay? He said, these people are sufaha and they're fools, and he just left them. And when he left them, without realizing, he broke a rule of prophethood. What is that rule of prophethood? When you're sent to a city, you cannot leave without permission from Allah, without being ordered to leave by Allah. The way of the olden days, before the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was that a messenger goes to the people, he preaches to them, and he stays there until he's given the order that he's done. And you leave. And when he leaves, all the believers go with him, and that city is destroyed. That was the old pattern and sunnah of Allah Ta'ala with his creation. But Yunus alayhi salam forgot that ruling, right? Why do we say that? Because prophets don't disobey Allah on purpose. And even Sayyidina Adam, we do not say Sayyidina Adam disobeyed Allah and sinned on purpose. We say one of three things, according to the ulama. Number one, he forgot the ruling, because human beings forget. That's a quality of forgetfulness, right? And number two, we say that shaitan fooled him. That shaitan came back. If you know, shaitan did come back, and he whispered to them, and he spoke to them in the form of a creature. He entered into a creature and spoke to them. And that Sayyidina Adam did not know that there can be lies told in paradise. He never seen a liar before. He never seen anyone do evil before. So he believed him. He believed him. Eat from the tree. It's no longer haram for you to eat. So he obeyed him and ate from it. So that's how we understand and explain Sayyidina Adam. Sayyidina Adam was not punished for what he did. If it was a sin, he would be punished. But he wasn't punished. He was actually fulfilled his purpose. The purpose was to make it appear to Adam that he had disobeyed Allah and disappointed his creator. And if we can use that word, disappointed, like Adam al-Rida, the absence of contentment. And so to see how he would react. So Sayyidina Adam reacted correctly. He reacted by making tawbah. I admit my mistake. I take full responsibility. I seek your forgiveness, and I regret it, and I never want to do it again. So was Adam alayhi salam being sent down to the earth, was that his punishment? Many people think that mistakenly. It's false. It was not a punishment. And what's the proof? Proof being Allah Ta'ala, when he announces the creation of Sayyidina Adam, with what? How does he announce it? He says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة. I'm placing in the earth a khalifa. So what is the purpose of Adam? Where is his arena that he is created for? In the earth. I am placing in the earth a representative, someone to represent my will on the earth. That's what a khalifa is, a vicegerent or a regent. Okay. And so you place the place in which he was created for was the earth. So why didn't Allah Ta'ala create him and put him on the earth? Because you need to prepare him and see if he's capable of doing the job. So Sayyidina Adam's time in paradise, in the heavens, was meant to test him if he's capable of doing the job. And what is the main job or main, I shouldn't say job, we should say characteristic, quality. What is the main quality that is necessary for humans to progress, for humans to fulfill their function on the earth? Main quality is the ability to take responsibility for our actions and to repent when we make a mistake, to regret our wrong actions. This is what animals do not do. If an animal walks over and actually, you know what, to be honest with you, animals even do this too, right? There was, subhanAllah, a snake. Now, many people give snakes a bad name, and we also, the sunnah is to get rid of snakes. We consider them dangerous pests because they harm people, right? But snakes often have some good qualities as well. There was once a snake, then I saw a story that accidentally bit the hand of the owner and stung it really badly. And that snake began to coil up and on the owner, coiling up like almost like covering its face, and refused to eat until it died. It refused to eat. That was its owner, that its caretaker, and the caretaker is always taking it out. But for some reason, the snake got startled, bit its owner. Okay. And then it basically did qisas on itself. It did retribution against itself by coiling itself up in sadness, not behaving normally anymore, and refusing to eat until it died, believe it or not. Cobras are considered one of the nastiest, vicious animals. They're not vicious. The cobra has so many good qualities, it's unbelievable. All right. So we still stand by our sunnah. Snakes are not pets. They're not something to keep in the house. They're symbols of evil. They are to be exterminated, right? Because they're pests. Ask somebody, say, oh, that's so cruel. Really? Would you like to have snakes in your bed at night? So snakes are dangerous pests. However, they do have some good quality. The cobra, you should study, has a number of good qualities. This is why Benjamin Franklin chose it as one of the symbols of the American and says, don't tread on me. The cobra never picks a fight. But if you pick a fight, the cobra will either fight until it kills you or you kill it. Okay. The cobra has a number of other good qualities that you could look up. It never fights anyone without a warning either. It doesn't sneak up like other snakes do, right? The cobra stands up, rattles itself. Okay. So you could look up I think Benjamin Franklin listed 6 good qualities of the cobra. In any event, what is the point? The point is to say even animals have regret for the wrong actions. So when human beings do wrong actions and fail to even have regret for it, then this is where the Quran says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هم كالأنعام بل هم أضل. They're like animals? No, they're worse. Animals regret what they've done, what they do wrong. Okay. We look now that Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam was created for the earth. The human being, in order to progress and fulfill his mission on the earth, requires the quality of making tawbah. As long as a human being possesses the quality, the ability, the habit of repenting for our wrong actions, regretting them, upholding what's right, what's wrong, and striving to avoid the wrong and do the right, that person or that society there's hope for them, and they deserve to continue being supported. Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salam, in the same way that Sayyidina Adam ate from the tree, and we don't hold that to be a sin, likewise Sayyidina Yunus, he did not realize that he had broken a divine law. But in order to squeeze from his heart, to extract from his heart a prayer, that a state from which all the believers will benefit, that Allah Ta'ala had given him created this image for him, that he has disobeyed him. And Sayyidina Yunus didn't know. And Allah Ta'ala did not send him Sayyidina Jibreel to inform him. Well, that would be easy. Oh, Sayyidina, stop right there, red light. This is the rule, go back. Well, there wouldn't be there wouldn't be anything to learn then, right? But he wanted Sayyidina Yunus to experience the darkness, right? The darkness of divine discontent. Not that Allah was discontent from him, because Allah is never discontent with his prophets. But he saw that Sayyidina Yunus, in fact, cannot do his job of calling pagans to Islam, to Iman, if he doesn't understand the life in which pagans are living, the darkness in which pagans are living. And so that environment was created for him. When Sayyidina Yunus left, he asked to get on a ship. He got on the ship. He boarded the ship, he paid the fare, and everything was going normally. All of a sudden, the ship starts shaking. And so the sailor of the ship, the head of the captain of the ship, he says, something's wrong here. And he says, the water never acts like this. This river never behaves like this. There must be someone here who has angered the God of water, because they weren't believers, right? He said, the God of the ocean and the God of water is angry. So someone here disobeyed. How are we going to know? Let's all take lots. Take lots means lottery. It means everyone write your name on something, put it in the bag, and we pull it out, and we see whose name it is. So he does this the first time, second time. Yunus's name comes out. Now, even though the man's a pagan, he's looking at Yunus. He's like, you look like a pious man. You're like a priest in your religion. I don't want to touch you. I don't want to mess around. Maybe there's some powers associated with him, so I'm not going to go there. He pulls it a second time, a third time. Now, Sayyidina Yunus is looking every single time. His name is the one coming out. He knows this must be a sign from Allah. So he looks and he says, these people will all drown because of me. So he jumped. Okay. He jumped off to save the rest of the people. So he did an act almost of martyrdom. To save everyone else, he jumped himself. And he said, Allah, is clearly something is wrong here. So he jumped. Now, as he jumped, when you're jumping like that, you're going to drown. You're in the middle of the sea. So what happens? Allah Ta'ala caused the whale to come and eat him and swallow him up. Okay. And he's now in the stomach of the whale, deep in the stomach of the whale. And he spends days there. Some people say 40 days and 40 nights in the stomach of the whale, right? Fi batn al-hut, and sitting, contemplating. Of course, he's scared. He's upset. But he's a human being at the same time as being a prophet. But at this time, some of the best prayers were emanated from the heart of Sayyidina Yunus. And one of them was given to us in the Quran. And that is, La ilaha illa anta, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. And this dhikr has three features in it. Number one, tawheed. La ilaha illa anta. So it's like saying La ilaha illallah. Number two, glory. Tasbih. Subhanak. Tasbih means tanzih, which means anything that is not worthy of your description, I reject. Okay? We reject any idea or concept that is not worthy of Allah Ta'ala. And then there is istighfar, tawbah. Inni kuntu min al-zalimin. I was from the wrongdoers. I have done wrong. So in it is kalimat al-tawheed, in it is tasbih, and in it is istighfar. And it's unique because it does not contain in it the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. And so one of the little isharat that may be said about that is that the name of Allah is vast. And it's a great honor to say the name of Allah, because we know that there are some religions out there, they're not allowed to say their God's name. They have to put blank. They write G blank. They're not allowed to say the divine name, right? Not only are we not allowed to say it, Allah is angered with us when we don't say it. When we don't keep saying, Ya Allah, give me, Ya Allah, protect me. But when you have angered Allah Ta'ala, sometimes it's almost like saying, I'm not worthy of even uttering your name. That's why this is one of the greatest of dhikrs. La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. But it does not possess in it the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Because it's almost like saying, I'm not worthy of that honor of saying your name at this moment because of what I've done. And so he persists in saying this dhikr, La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. And what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says after it, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. We answered him and we saved him from the darkness. He was in three darknesses, the darkness of the night and the darkness of the ocean and the darkness of the whale. Right? He was in darkness upon darkness upon darkness. And we saved him from this darkness. And most optimistic for us is Allah saying, وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And likewise, in this manner, we also salvage the believers. In other words, if any Muslim says this dhikr, La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin, if any Muslim says that, they will be saved from the misery, from the hardship that they're in, even if it's their own fault. Sometimes you do it yourself. You get yourself into a deal, you make some purchases, all of a sudden you're in debt. You don't hand in your assignment, you don't do your work properly, all of a sudden your boss is in trouble, your teachers are breathing down your back, your boss is angry with you. Okay, you be a bad spouse, your husband's angry, your wife is angry. You're a bad dad, all of a sudden your kids are going astray, right? All of these things are our fault, but this dhikr comes to solve that problem. Now, someone may say, well, you're supposed to solve your problem and you're not supposed to just say dhikr. So you made a mistake. Now you're just sitting there doing dhikr. Well, the dhikr oftentimes is the beginning of the inner transformation that makes us able to see our mistakes, right? Because you're in a state of mind. In that state of mind cause you to do certain actions, right? So now you're still in that state of mind. So you need to get out of that state of mind first. Then you could see why my actions were a mistake, why my action was misguided, why I was had the impulse to do this, that, or the other. So our deen tells us we have to change our mindset first, the state of our heart first. Then we'll start being able to see what's happening. And that's why there was one sheikh named Hamza al-Buchichi in al-Maghrib, and he would get people, and he was amazing at transforming people. Bi-idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By the permission of Allah ta'ala, people would come to him, and he would do very little. He would do very little, right? He just keep my company. That's it. He had a masjid, he had a school, he had everything. Just hang out with us. And these people would transform. And people ask, what is his method? So some youth back in the 70s, these 70s and 80s, like rock and roll type of youth, that the Moroccans that got into that stuff, they just loved him for some reason, and they would go hang out with him. He would not say a word to them, right? And someone asked him, what is your method? How have you had success transforming these people? Because even these rock and roll kids eventually got transformed, but in the beginning, they're just hanging out. So he said, first thing, I just want them to be comfortable around me. So I say nothing. We just talk about anything halal. As long as it's halal, we talk about it. And he's very mild-mannered, but he would just listen to what they have to say. Smile, laugh, say some small talk. He said, then as soon as they are receptive, then I tell them to say La ilaha illallah. And I keep telling them, say La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. And I keep telling them to increase the amount of La ilaha illallah that they're saying until they're saying it all day while they're working, while they're driving, before they're sleeping. They're just saying La ilaha illallah. And I met one of these men who had met this sheikh, and he's an IT programmer in Boston. And he would just say La ilaha illallah all day. His face was like a light. He had swallowed a light bulb. How much nur he had on his face. All day, just La ilaha. So someone said, well, why don't you teach them fiqh first? Teach them how to make tahara and salah properly. Teach them the ahkam shar'iyya. He said, what value is it to teach them ahkam shar'iyya when they're not in the mindset to obey Allah? They have no love for Allah. They have no iman even. Their iman is weak. So by saying La ilaha illallah is like turning the lights on in a broken, dirty, dingy house. That's his logic. As soon as the light goes on, you're going to see all the dust you're going to clean up. Right? So why did the house get dirty and dingy in the first place? It's because it's dark, you can't see, and you keep messing up. So he wants to turn the light on first, and then you'll see the mess in the house. And that's why his methodology of transforming people by the permission of Allah, of course, was to instill in them intensity of dhikrillah first, and then they start to see the flaws that are inside of them, and they start to see the value of knowledge, and they seek the knowledge by themselves. So it's not that he was against knowledge, but he had a different methodology of going about this type of reform. So Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salam was saved, of course, and he returned back to the people of Nineveh, and he found them completely receptive. So let's ask the question, why is it over just from this period of time when he left them till the time he came back was not, not years or anything, just small period of time. He went back. As soon as he went back and started speaking again, he found them so receptive. Why? Did they change? It wasn't them who changed. It was he who changed. It was he who now was sympathetic. He came to them with an attitude of sympathy for them, of appreciation that people make mistakes, that people end up in darkness. No judgmentalism and no even inability to comprehend how stupid this idol worship is. With that attitude, no one's going to listen to you. But he went to them with an attitude, now that he has the experience that people make mistakes and people are in the darkness and they get used to the darkness and it becomes their norm, so they're afraid of change. He has now mirrored their state. In this, and I shouldn't say their state, but rather he's understood now from where they're coming. Sayyidina Umar always talked about the importance of converts, that the convert knows the darkness. And because the convert knows darkness, he knows kufr, he's able to talk to people who are in that state. All right. So he was able to talk to them. Not that he ever knew the darkness of kufr, of course not, but he knew now the darkness in general. He, by being in the physical darkness, he was able to now understand and comprehend the idea of being in the dark about something, and how maybe it's not that obvious to them, and maybe they need someone who was a bit more understanding. So the Prophet ﷺ said, no prophet went to a city to give them dawah and succeeded, except the people themselves believed in their prophet, except the people of Nineveh. The people of Yunus alayhi salam, they were about 100,000 or more, and they all believed in Yunus alayhi salam. He was the only person who was sent to a city to give them the dawah, and that city accepted the dawah. This is the only time. For example, the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca, they rejected. For Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam in Ur, his home city was called Ur, they rejected. Okay, many other examples. Sayyidina Musa to Egypt, they rejected. So that's the story of Sayyidina Yunus. And I'm telling you, if you want a dhikr that you feel that you're in some hardship, some trouble, that you dug yourself into that trouble, then your dhikr is La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin, non-stop, hundreds upon hundreds of repetitions of this dhikr until you fall asleep. You pray with it, you memorize those surahs, okay, and those ayat, and you become someone who will experience the salvation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. So let's take it now to the Q&A before we wrap up. Nafis Hamid has a question. What's the level you need to be for the Tajweed class? You need to be able to read basically. This is very basics. So you need to be able to read without necessarily having to hold the whole class up because you don't know a letter, or without making basic mistakes. That's the prerequisite, because he's expecting you to be able to read the Quran. You can have as many mistakes within the recitation, but not like, I don't know, what is that, a fa? Is that a qaf? Is that a sad? Is that a za? There's no the. There's no za. That was a trick. The, right? So that stuff is what, that's the prerequisite. So we have salams from a number of people. Jazakumullah khairan. Wa alaikum assalam to everybody. From the woods, I have worked diligently for 20 years alone and as a group, trying to make the society better. Results are in Allah's hands after damaging my health many times, trying to achieve results. I have come to accept things are according to Allah's will. Sometimes I sit on the prayer mat and cry to Allah because everything is by His will? How do we find contentment in Allah's decree and reject Satan's whispering? Well, you don't necessarily stop, right? You keep going, but you know the hearts are in Allah's hands, and you keep trying to improve yourself. And it's like in a business, if you're trying to sell food and no one's buying it, you got to change the food up, right? It's not don't just blame. We won't blame the people, and I'm not saying you're blaming the people, of course, but number one, the Quran says, "Innaka la tahdi man ahbabt." You don't guide whom you wish, right? And there's a reason why certain people did not accept Islam, is to show the people that, number one, if the Prophet, peace be upon him, if this was a Qurayshi movement, as some people say, it was the Arab movement or Qurayshi movement, then why didn't the Prophet's own family accept it? Number two, this is not because people did not become Muslim because the Prophet was a great persuader or something. Okay, Muslim because it's in the hands of Allah. And even his own family didn't accept it. Some of his own family did not accept it. So that's one thing that we have to accept. That is a reality of the situation. We have to also realize that sometimes we need to get better, right? And over time, you just keep looking and looking, trying and trying to find better results. So sometimes it's a combination of those things. And Imam al-Haddad said, the bulk of da'wah movements and efforts will result in no reaction at all. That's what he said. The bulk of da'wah, neither will the people be against you, nor will the people be with you. So the bulk of it is just, I gave the da'wah and nothing happened. That's what he said is probably the most realistic and bulk reaction that people will get. So it's not a surprise that happens. All right. So with that, it looks like there are no other questions. Again, the classes start on June 21st, and the website, we'll put it here for everyone, is safinasociety.org, and registration is open for both ArcView Plus and ArcView. If you have any questions, you go to my ArcView at safinasociety.org, and you can ask your questions there. Jazakumullah khairan. Let's close up with our dua. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.